We have a new report released recently by EFINA and its partners, which shows some progress in the area of financial inclusion in the outgoing year, even as the Nigerian economy remains sluggish and below a wider population growth. Joining me to put more flesh onto that is Oluwatomi Eromosele. She is the General Manager at EFINA, the Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access Organization. And thanks for coming in on the exchange tonight, madam.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. We appreciate that. Unpack this growth in the financial access report for me. What do you see there as the main point that you think I need to know?
So we've promoted financial inclusion over the years. EFINA, for example, has been on this for over 15 years, and we've seen support from a wide range of stakeholders in recent years. In 2018, the CBN set a target for us to hit 95% financial inclusion rate by 2024. Last year, we reviewed that target, and based on data, based on looking at the enablers of where the economy is, where our financial inclusion stakeholders are at the moment, we reviewed that to 65% formal inclusion and 75% financial inclusion as the recommended target. And we're happy to report that as of 2023, we're reporting 64% formal inclusion for Nigeria, which means that 64% of our adult population have access to some form of formal regulated financial service provider. And that's up from 56% in 2020. And that's a plus. We've also seen that this growth has been driven by technology. The ecosystem has been able to leverage financial service agents to drive increased access in rural communities to underserved population. And we see particularly that even for adults who do not have a transactional account, so individuals who don't have a bank account or a mobile money account, 11 million of them have been able to engage with formal financial service providers. And that's a good thing, which we are happy to celebrate.
Some improvement. And I like some good news as we end the year, whatever thing, no matter how things look like. But again, you've got barriers still to financial inclusion, financial access. Do you see further opportunities to expand this growth further in the new year, 2024, if we look at other jurisdictions and how financial access is going?
Yes. So this year, looking at the role that the financial service agents have played, it showed us, demonstrated to us that the non-bank players can actually play a role in extending financial access in Nigeria.
How do you mean?
So we had reported that 51% of the adult population were banked. Yeah. In 2023, we now have 52% that are banked. But we've seen an increase in the percentage of adult population who use non-bank formal providers from 5% in 2020 to about 12% in 2023. So these are not bank-provided services. For example, your agents are they offer services from the super agent network expansion facility. So these are non-bank providers, but then they help Nigerians to send money, receive money from rural communities all over Nigeria, even without a bank account. And that's good news, because before now, we always have promoted a transactional account as the entry point into financial inclusion, which is good. But
so that's the point has changed?
That's the point has changed, yes, because we're now saying, okay, we will aim for a bank account, but even while we are yet to get that, people still need to be able to interact with the formal financial services. And if agents can help us do that, that's one way to do that.
So bring more people in, yes. And they can decide what to do, whether they want to have a bank account or whatever later. But just make sure the door is open for everyone.
In fact, someone said to me recently that really nobody wants a bank account. They really just want to be able to save their money, make payments, get credit. If it's a bank that provides that, fine. If it's not a bank, anybody, so pay whoever provides the service. And I think that's another radical shift that we're seeing in the
thinking
yes.
out there,
yes.
on the street.
Yeah.
But this is a very tough economic environment we find ourselves, considerable economic and financial pressure. So how well has the financial access translated to improve livelihoods? Do you think it's helped?
Well, you agree with me that, just like you said, this has been a very tough year.
Yes.
And then, to us, we're also interested in answering the question, because over the years, people have asked us, financial inclusion, so what? What's the benefit? What's the impact? And so we've asked Nigerians, we've adopted the financial needs approach to say, what are the financial needs of Nigerians? And are we actually meeting those needs? And some of the key needs that will stand out will be, Nigerians are trying to achieve a goal, or people who have liquidity needs, or people who are facing financial shocks. And we noticed that in this year, I mean, in the height of COVID, we saw about 60% of Nigerians saying they had liquidity distress. So in a particular year, they were unable to cover their expenses with their income for more than 1 month in the year. This year, we recorded 74% of Nigerians reporting severe liquidity distress. And unfortunately...
Wow. More than the COVID-19 period?
Yes, more than the COVID-19 period. And unfortunately, we've not seen the formal financial providers...
What happened?
It's the economic situation, inflation, which means...
This is the economy is stupid.
The economy, yes.
As the saying goes globally,
yes.
And
when you ask them what shocks that they faced, apart from health, which has continued to be the major shock that Nigerians continue to report, you see people talk about failure of their business, loss of jobs or income. So that, again, goes to the economic factor. And we know that some of these are outside of the financial ecosystem and goes to economic situation. But then the financial ecosystem should be able to help people to manage these shocks and help them cope with these shocks.
In the manner of speaking, so financial access, financial inclusion, it all boils down to the state of the economy.
Yes.
In the manner of speaking.
Yeah, it's, having a robust, inclusive economy would also help us with the financial inclusion.
Get us a whole lot more faster.
Yes.
Than we would rather move
yes.
in terms of that.
Yes.
If the economy is a whole lot better.
Yeah, because when you also ask people, why don't you have a bank account? Top of the reason you say, I have irregular income or low income or no income at all. So in addition to the access challenge, and that's one of the reasons why next year, we're looking beyond just the financial ecosystem and going to the government, and now beyond the national, government, going to the sub-national government, because we have data that can help them make decisions at that level now.
How do you intend to bring the state governments and the local governments into this?
So we're working with the Nigerian Governors Forum to do this, because again, you see that there is no developmental initiative that you see out there today that doesn't have a financial inclusion angle to it, whether it's for health or for agriculture. People need to have a way to manage their finances. And so even if you're giving someone support at the agricultural level, if he doesn't have food on the table, he's going to divert that fund. So the financial inclusion... It's happened
several times.
Yes, financial inclusion.
Diverting agricultural inputs to the dinner table.
Exactly.
Because they got to feed the stomach first before anything else.
So the government they also need to pay attention to this as well. And that's what we're trying to do.
Interesting. Well, what else are you on board in 2024 at EFINA? With your partners? I know you don't work alone, so you enjoy this partnership that brought you this far and for this report as well. What's new in 2024, apart from the subnationals?
So in 2024, we also want to have a focus on women's economic empowerment, and because we see that the gender financial inclusion gap is still prevalent, I want to focus on that. We want to focus on the rural population. We want to focus on northern Nigeria, because yes, we've seen some progress, but then there are still states that are really, really lacking. So northern Nigeria, and then informal. We want to see some linkage between the formal and the informal financial service providers, because some of the shocks we just mentioned earlier on, we see the informal providers addressing some of those shocks, and we want to see how we can bring the formal and the informal together so that we don't expose people to the informal mechanism, but then we integrate them with formal mechanisms so that people have access to safe financial services.
When you're putting all that together, let me be the first to know. I love the formal and informal sector, bringing both of them together. Again, when we say financial inclusion, look, talk a little bit about those of us, white collar, blue collar in Lagos, you and I, we can talk about those in the rural areas, especially up north, and see how we can get more data in to get how things are. But wonderful job you do, madam. Thank you so much, and the rest of your team.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. Thank you, Arta, EFINA.
Thank you
for having you on the show tonight. That's